Alright guys, I wanted to go over Station 5 from today's review because that was the one where I saw the most questions, and definitely we want to cover questions 26 and 27. So we're going to go ahead and solve these literal equations at the top to get us warmed up before we move on to 26 and 27. Question 25 says solve for B. B is part of a binomial, which means we're going to add or subtract first. The mx needs to be moved to the other side of the equals. That's a positive mx, so we're going to subtract mx from both sides. It cancels on the right. On the left, those are not like terms, so we're just going to write y minus mx equals b. B is alone, so that is our final answer. When we look at 24, we're trying to get h alone. H is multiplying to b, so to undo their multiplication, we're going to have to divide. We need the b to move, so we're going to divide both sides by b, and you're going to end up with a divided by b equals h as your final answer. Okay. In 25, we want to get f by itself. F is locked up here in the numerator. So for us to get into the numerator, we got to get rid of the denominator. So to cancel that, we're going to multiply both sides by 3. And I get 3c equals k plus f. Now f is part of this binomial. So when you have a binomial, there's addition or subtraction first. We got to get rid of k, so we're going to subtract k from both sides. And you end up with 3c minus k equals f, and that's going to be your final answer on that one. Okay. That's going to lead us into questions 26 and 27. Instead of giving you numbers to plug in on question 26, I'm actually giving you the units like when we were doing our dimensional analysis. So I'm going to take the original formula, C equals T times R divided by W, and I'm going to substitute in. It says T is equal to inches squared over miles. Okay, and it's going to multiply to R, which it says is miles over feet. And it's going to be divided by W, which this says is inches squared divided by inches. I'm going to start looking, can I simplify this in any way? I see that miles cancels with miles right here. I'm seeing something at top and bottom here about the inches squared, but we're going to do this in the proper mathematical order. We're going to just simplify down. With the miles canceled, I'm left with inches squared divided by feet on top, inches squared divided by feet on top, divided by inches squared divided by inches on the bottom. Now, the mathematical rule is we cannot divide by a fraction. We can only multiply by its reciprocal. So the reciprocal of this, I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal of this fraction. Inches is on the bottom, so that means it's going to go on the top. Inches squared is on the top. That means it's going to go on the bottom. I just flipped it over. We multiplied by its reciprocal. And when I look, I see inches squared cancels with inches squared, and my final units are inches over feet. So C's units would be inches over feet. That is your answer. 27 works very much the same way. 27 wants to know what the units for R would be. Because it's asking for R, what I'd like to do first is let's get R alone so we're not trying to move all these units around. Here's the original formula. R is in the numerator. That means we need to get rid of the denominator first. So we're going to multiply both sides by W. So we get CW equals T times R. To get R alone, we're going to divide both sides by T. CW divided by T equals R. So this is what I'm going to plug into here. So for my units for R, C is in feet, and I'm going to just write it as a fraction. Feet can be just placed over 1, times W. W is inches over feet. Inches over feet. And that's going to be divided by T, which is inches squared over seconds. Okay. Once I've got it set up, I start looking, will anything cancel? And I see this foot will cancel with that foot. And I'm left with inches over 1 divided by inches squared divided by seconds. Same rule applies. You cannot divide by a fraction. So we're going to bring this up here. We're going to multiply by its reciprocal. Okay. So what happens is this has 1 inch and that has 2 inches. That means this guy cancels out to be just a 1, and that leaves only 1 down here on the bottom. And when we look, we've got seconds all by itself on the top, and then there's just a single inch on the bottom. This is going to be the units for this one, seconds over inches. So hopefully this will clarify some of that for you. Go ahead and watch this video again if necessary. Remember, the test is tomorrow. I've given you a plain copy of the station so you can try them again and all the answers on Canvas. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.